since I've done one of these podcasts, and this is my first try at this fucking live video carry on.
Is it technically a podcast when it's a video? Is it now a video cast or something like that?
Fuck it.
Basically, Piston broke his back.
Piston broke his back. This is a resurrection of the Piston Broke podcast, and for anybody that might be watching, you can already see whether he's on this side or that side or fucking whatever. Very special guest for the resurrection.
Jesus.
He's an author.
Well, I'm not officially being published.
Nearly an author. Comedian, musician, but I use that term kind of loosely.
Aye.
Poet, very good friend of mine, and he's certainly sexier than a packet of fucking beef space raiders. It's Billy Watson.
Hello, Stephen. Thank you very much for inviting me back on to your resurrection of Piston Broke. It's an honour to be here. And
you're welcome, my man. You're welcome.
I've never been introduced as a very special guest before, so that warmed the cockles of my heart when I seen that today.
I've been known as many things, but special. What kind of level of window liquor does that put me in?
It depends how you're talking about special, you know.
It's like a guy. I can't mind the comedian's name. He did this joke. He says, "I went to the zoo and watched the monkeys wanking. Then I went and watched the crocodiles. I was still wanking." But after the zoo, I went to Tesco and they had a special on. He was collecting the trolleys.
That's a good one. So I had a wank over him.
I can't mind who the fuck that is that did that. But yeah, Billy, for on the off chance that there's anybody here that's not familiar with your work, we've got a couple of viewers now. And if you're watching, fucking like it, share it, leave us a wee comment, say hello. You know, just to show that we're not talking to our fucking selves here now.
We're used to that
though. But let fuckers know who you are, where do you come from, what you do, what's your website, tell us about your books, anything else you've got coming up.
Okay, I'm not really sure where to begin because I'm not usually the guest on podcasts and ask these questions, so all of a sudden my heart started beating quite fast, like, fuck, who am I? Who am I? I don't know, I do what I feel like doing in the moment, basically, so I don't like to label myself. You gave me lots of labels there. People, comedian, I've tried to do comedy. Basically, the reason I started doing comedy was I was reading lots of conspiracy theories at the time, and I was trying to be a musician. The operative word in these cases is trying, you can. So I was trying to be a rock and roll star. I was living a lifestyle, kind of fell into taking drugs and acid and stuff, getting into the whole hippie thing. And with a friend, we'd actually done a gig. He had talent and he was writing these songs, but we applied for a Battle of the Bands competition and I hadn't even picked up an instrument. It was 16 weeks before it was due to start. I got to 6 weeks before we were due to play and I bought a bass guitar. And my other friend, you'd seen him hit the drums, the guy with the guitar, so he got him involved. So it was the three of us, practiced for 6 weeks, very simple bass lines, and we pulled this gig off somehow by the skin of our teeth. I'll tell you the songs we played. We started off with I Wanna Be Your Dog. I hope this isn't too much of a diversion, but I do tend to do that. So I Wanna Be Your Dog. Right, you have to tell me the group who done that. Now I Wanna.
Is that a Hip-Hop and the Stooges?
It is indeed, aye. They're just known as the Stooges, the first album. Dun 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 dun. I can do that bass line. So anyway, then we done a Jesus and Mary Chain song from Honey's Dead. Can't remember the name of it. There's a song about waiting for their drug dealer. What's the most famous song about that?
Oh fuck!
I was actually just playing them just now. Well, I was playing Hot Chip, playing a version of their other song called Pale Blue Eyes. So the most famous waiting for your drug dealer.
Probably anything for the fucking Stone Roses right now.
No. I'm waiting for my man. $26 in my hand. You know, waiting for the man.
No, you've got me with that.
No. Do you know the Velvet Underground?
Oh fuck! Right, aye.
Actually, I was just telling Emma when we were watching Pale Blue Eyes. Emma's my girlfriend, by the way. She's a bit younger than me, so Happy Days at the Beach.
Oh, you're punching above your weight, aren't you?
I think so. She obviously likes the wild look. So anyway, I was telling her that I'd seen the Velvet Underground. They reformed. They split up, quite animosity and all that. Reformed, and they toured Europe. And I seen them at the Edinburgh Playhouse tripping on acid. I can't remember much about it. I remember having a Jimi Hendrix T-shirt called "Are You Experienced?" I was maybe watching that for most of the gig as it fucking was melting into my chest. But anyway, the European tour finished, and they'd never done the American tour because of the infighting. They split up again, so I was quite lucky to see them.
Yeah.
Oh, and on a side note, I also got thrown out of a Lou Reed concert at the Edinburgh Festival. I got a write-up in a newspaper because I was experimenting with reality at the time. I remember I used to go to the Edinburgh Festival, Edinburgh Playhouse. As Iron Maiden and all these bands used to go right down the front, Saxon, and jump like crazy all over the seats, Big Country and all that. But now health and safety, you're not allowed to do anything. So I always wanted to dance up the back, and the woman told me to sit in my seat. Then I said, halfway through this fucking gig, I went down the front, stood, and the bouncers wanted to go back up. So I went back to where I was originally, started dancing, and went, fuck this. Went down the front, started poling, trying to get the whole Edinburgh Playhouse to, get on their feet. These bouncers came and basically had this argument with me and put an arm up the back and horsed me out. And that was a week after that I got thrown at the Comedy Store for trying to go on stage before Paul Merton and Greg Proops, dressed as the Great White Shaft, this first comedy character I'd done. And this bouncer was going to kill me because I'd got through his security because I had my stuff in the bag. And I was dressed as this Shaft character, so he couldn't punch me. And so the guy one of the friends who came to the Lou Reed gig, I told him this story, and it was the first time his wife had let him out of the house in 5 years. And it's to see his hero, Lou Reed. And then I got thrown at the gig, so him and the other two friends, they came and joined me a couple of songs later, and he was well pissed off. But
I think the last time I got flung out a gig was, fuck me, it must have been about 1996 or something like that. Fucking hell, back in the day. We were seeing, who the fuck did we see? Corn,
all right.
They were playing at the Barras. In the Barrowlands.
You're only playing at Corn Exchange now.
Did the Corn Exchange a few times, right enough. That's a great venue. But Corn at the Barras, I got fucking turfed out, pissed as a fart, threw a fucking bottle on stage. I think it smashed one of the lights or something, and that was me huckled and taken out. So I'm hanging about outside waiting my mates coming out for the rest of the gig, and what the fuck's this? Fucking ambulance poos up and fucking they goes in the fucking venue and they poos the fucking this poor cunt out on the stretcher, on the trolley. And it was a fucking sin. They pulled the sheet over his head. That was a boy.
Turns out he'd been hit by a bottle.
No. It went apparently it went crowd surfing.
All right.
Went over the barrier. The stewards didn't catch him. He went down and broke his neck. And that was him.
God, that's unbelievable.
So I think that was Colin's first headline gig in Scotland, and my boy get killed.
Aye, there you go. Lucky White Heather. So anyway, I do tend to get sidetracked. Sorry about that, but at least to be interesting stories we've got to learn about Con and Guy breaking his neck at the Barras.
It was I think that was must have been in the space of a week. We'd seen a power of fucking bands at the Barras.
Sometimes they kind of congregate like that.
Aye, we'd like Cotton, fucking Rage Against the Machine, fucking Smashing Pumpkins.
All right,
all within about a week.
Wow,
it was fucking bra.
Yeah, I've just I sometimes think of the bands I've seen back in the day. I had a reasonably job. I got brought up in South Queensferry, and I left when I was 17 and moved through to Falkirk. I used to work in a chemical factory.
South Queensferry, posh cunt.
Well, we weren't exactly loaded, but it was a good area to get brought up in. It's like the whole village was like your playground, So you're always outside and climbing trees and doing hundreds of shit, jumping in hay for big trees and all that stuff. Things kids miss out on these days, you can.
Mm-hmm.
So then moved through to Falkirk because I needed a car to travel to work, and I lost my licence. I got caught technically drunk driving, but one of my side lights was on. The police stopped me. I was a little bit over the limit, and I lost my licence for a year, so I had to get a flat in like Stewart Road, which is otherwise known as Heroin Street. And I lived there for 6 years. It was party central with all my mates coming and going and me trying to do this rock and roll shit. Mm-hmm. And then basically I had to get married to escape my friends because my kidneys weren't too happy.
It's funny you should say that about the drunk driving. I think my father had a similar experience years ago. I was maybe about 19, 20 year old or something at the time. He lost his license, well, it was a fucking suspension or whatever the fuck it was, been over the limit. Ends up going for a pint with him one day, and we're doing it Cumnock Juniors, fucking the social club. I'm having a pint, and these fuckers at the bar, they bought me a fucking chauffeur's hat.
Right.
Because fucking bastards.
Did you wear it?
I did, at least twice.
Cool. Go to play the part.
So you're still working away?
Yeah, well, I left the chemical factory job and moved to Turkey. That's a long story, but basically I lived there for 12 years. I came back with my son from a Turkish wife, and for his education, he'd not applied himself much, but apparently his exams were this year, then that all went tits up, and I wasn't going to send him back with wearing a mask and all that stuff. So now he's back in Turkey, and I'm stuck in Bowness working at the local food factory. So thanks, son. Appreciate that. I've got a lovely girlfriend out of it though, so I can't complain, eh?
That's it. Swings and roundabouts, isn't it? So when you're working in a factory, is that one of these sort of chilled environments because for the foodstuffs and all that? Or is it more kind of ambient?
No, it's definitely in fridge-like conditions, shall we say. So
put a lot of tissue spigot just to get a fucking job done.
Aye, it's not that bad. There's certain parts of it where the chill needs to be colder than the other places, but certainly you wear a jacket. Otherwise, if you were just wearing a t-shirt, you're getting cold pretty damn quick, you know. Some people wear gloves, you know.
When I spent a couple of weeks working in a factory in Perth, when I hadn't long moved up this neck of the woods, it was I'm not even going to advertise the cunts and tell you their name because they're a shower of shite, to be quite honest. It was a big laundry factory, big giant laundrette.
All right.
Horrible, worst fucking job ever I've had in my life. I mean, fuck me. 12-hour shifts, right? And they had the weirdest break system I've ever had in my life. It was fucking, what was it? 10 minutes every 2 hours. And that was your breaks.
Okay, that's not a lot of time to fucking get
to
grips.
You're trying to eat a piece, smoke a fag, drink a coffee, and have a piss shot at the same time. Get back on. But that was fucking horrid because you were rooted to the spot. It's the only job I've ever had where I couldn't fucking move.
Aye.
Some big cunt would give you a big trolley full of wet fucking sheets, and you were feeding them into this machine that would sort of dry them and iron them and fold them on the one go. Aye. And all you did was grab an end, grab a corner, click, click, next one, click, click, next one, click, click. I was like, fucking hell, man.
Yeah.
Anything to fucking numb the pain of this fucking job. But it wouldn't happen. But because I was literally, on the shift I was working, I was the only Scottish accent there.
Right.
And
I'll carry on.
I've got a lot of Eastern European friends, but I also had a lot of Eastern European enemies after this fucking job.
Right.
Fuck me.
Well, basically, I was just again saying this to Emma before we came on about comedy and like being politically correct and all that stuff. Like, I even said that these Englishmen, Irishmen, Scottish jokes back in the day, that's just a way to find humour in how society's adapting to this influx of immigrants, whatever. People might see it as dated or racist, but anyway, that's what we do. So I don't hope, well, I like, people seen my show at the Edinburgh Festival last year, done it as Knob Stewart, and it basically said several times he went over the line. I was like, there isn't any lines, okay? So, oh fuck, there's a point to that. Oh, aye, so I done a joke because I was in Turkey for 7 years. I'd come back to Edinburgh Festival, and I had this joke that, I'd come back to live in Scotland. So I started working in the food factory in the agency. So I said that, I came back there, got a job in the food factory, and at the canteen at the break time, I thought I'd been transported to fucking Poland. And they basically took it the wrong way. I was just stating a fact that, there's a lot of Polish, like, basically. It's an observation, but they take it as racist. And then I went on to say, I agreed with the BNP wanting to get rid of Lenny Henry for Britain, but that wasn't because he was black, that's just because he was a shit comedian.
I mean, fuck's sake, I remember, you probably remember yourself back in the day when political correctness was regarded as spastic gay talk.
Aye, when men were men, fucking again.
Men were men and sheep were nervous.
As they say up north, the Tukters. But basically, yeah, that's what I do in my podcast, and you do it as well. Be real. Talk as you just want to talk, and didn't let these fucking mind controllers infiltrate your fucking bullshit. As long as you say it with the right context and the right meaning, you know. People get offended just over a word rather than how it's used or the context of it.
You and I shared a really fucking weird experience a couple of days ago. It was one of your shooting the shit shows, which kind of happens whenever you want it to happen, but anybody watching that's no familiar with Billy's shooting the shit, just follow Billy Watson TV on Facebook, and it's kind of similar to this, except he'll throw up some pictures and rant like fuck. You had a show pulled just as it ended.
Oh yeah.
And I think it was on the basis of copyright infringement or some bollocks. I think that's what they were claiming.
Well, I had ranted quite a lot about the vaccine during that show, as I normally do. So I thought, or the virus, whatever. So I thought that was it. Or I thought, because I was playing a clip the first time I appeared on TV, it was Hitman and Her. So I thought it was ITV, because they own the copyright to the programme. But it turned out, I think it was actual Maggie May. So no, it was Sailing by Rod Stewart. I think it was that. I think it was that soundtrack. So Sony put a thing in, and basically the thing just popped, just says stream ended.
So, yeah, at the exact same time.
Aye.
I got a notification through that I was on a 3-day ban. Well, they said they were going to remove my profile completely, but I could appeal it. So I hit the appeal button, and it come back and said you've got a 3-day ban, and I was left thinking, going, "Oh fuck." Was it my comment that pulled fucking Billy's show?
You sent me a message saying there was a 24-hour ban, and I thought, oh, it's my page been banned for 24 hours. I thought it must have been talking about the virus. I didn't realise it was his personal ban, because I'm on my page and I still see the video going. I screenshotted my fucking video for an hour because I thought I might as well screenshot now in case I'm banned from it, because Stephen says I'm banned. And then he was talking to me during it, and the thing was popping up over my screenshot. I had to tell him to stop talking. And then we had
don't message me, I'm trying to fucking screenshot
this video from my page I'm apparently banned from, but I know it's you.
It's apparently for hate speech of all things.
And apparently it wasn't me that was doing it, so you must have went something.
For fuck's sake, I mean, I've been a guest in your show for a few times, and I'm saying the same thing. My story's never changed. It's just human beings coming together, stand under love, but that is now fucking hate speech.
Basically, or if you disagree with the WHO, you get video removed from YouTube, which pissed me off quite a lot. I should appeal it, because I'm talking.
Fuck the WHO.
They removed the video.
Fuck the fucking fact checkers.
Aye, it's just a joke, the whole fucking thing. But we're in quite a controlled reality, and the picture's pretty big than what we're led to believe. But anyway, the YouTube thing. I got one video warning for talking about the virus and shooting a shit, and I got the video removed. Then they sent me one, we're just taking this one off, but don't worry, it's not a strike for you. I thought, fucking hell. But it was the one with Don and David, the authors of this book, that I promote quite a lot, because
great book.
If you want to know what a virus is, it's a dead piece of cell debris, and there's an 800-page book. I've actually got it down here, 40 pages of references. You share a link with it to people, and they come back straight away saying, I don't believe what one person's going to tell me. I just said there was 40 pages of references, so you've not got very much brain cells, have you? Fucking.
They've done more work in the 10 years, whatever, to bring that book in than doctors get trained in fucking viruses.
Yeah, well, exactly. The whole thing, they get trained from, like, the procedure, and a virus does this, so this is a procedure to do, give them this drug, basically. Whereas they spent 10 years looking at the ultimate root causes and going back and studying the actual literature, and is there any evidence whatsoever that proves a virus is contagious and can cause another person to be ill?
Well, I'm sure Stephen Lanca's still got his money in his pocket, yeah.
Well, that's another one that proves it, yeah. Basically, he went through the German courts twice, and they threw everything at it to try and win the money and to win the case, and they couldn't prove that measles was caused by a virus. Yet still, the German government have a mandatory vaccination for the students, the young people.
You remember back in the day, either going to the doctor yourself as a wee boy, or maybe taking your son to the doctor, whatever, and the doctor would say, don't worry, it's just a virus.
Right, aye.
But these days it's like, whoa, fucking fear.
Aye, well, that's because of all the movies and everything, and they've ramped it up. But I posted something on my wall a few days ago. There was like 4 different videos from 1976, 1980, and all this about different kinds of virus, and it's just the same thing as they're doing now. This one's got a bit more fucking edge to it and an ultimate purpose, I guess. But it's exactly the same tactics and the fear mongering, and they're even talking about how it was fake and how it caused a lot of illness and all this kind of stuff. So,
well, you know that I can't remember the name of that fucking film, but it's based on a newsreader. He ends up sort of losing the plot, and he goes off in a fucking mad tangent.
Network.
That's the one. Aye, he says like, you work for 9 to 5, and from the hours of 5 to 9, you're mine. I tell you what to believe.
Yeah.
Well, that's a completely fucking false narrative.
Well, that's been extended now to 24 hours a day to tell you what to believe.
Tell you what, you've got some good poems on that kind of subject. You want to dig one out and share one with?
What subject is that?
Just the false narrative, anything at all. You've got carte blanche, my man.
Right, should have warned me. Fucking, let's see. Right, the thing is, they're all in a folder elsewhere. What's it going to do? All right, there's. Stephen, you should have warned me, but it's just bingo. Let me see. Right, so you talk away in the background there. I'll look something up.
Well, if you want, I'll do a wee poem.
Right, you do that. So it's good.
Let you fucking look something up. It's a wee poem. The lassie that run the Perth show that we both did, Rana, she had opened for a guy called John Cooper Clarke.
Yeah.
And when I was a wee boy, my father was a big fan of John Cooper Clarke. He still is. There's this work of his called Evidently Chicken Town, which kind of stuck with me. It just kind of resonated with me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And I heard this rumour that he'd maybe plagiarised it for a poet up in Orkney. So I thought, fuck it, I'm going to steal it back.
All right.
So this is a wee poem called "Fuck Your Fake News." My fucking sides are fucking aching, fucking news they're fucking faking, fucking money's what they're making, telling lies and changing facts. Fucking overs, fucking under, fucking rain and fucking thunder, fucking killing his name murder, telling lies and changing facts. And fucking COVID's fucking awesome, fucking healthcare, fucking nonsense, fucking war without a conscience, telling lies and changing facts. Cheers, folks.
Good one. I felt it. It's good when you, obviously, you can read poetry, but when you hear the author say it with the passion that it was written in, you know, you feel that energy because, yeah, they're telling lies and they're fucking changing facts. It's 100% bullshit. I just watched a video on the BBC about vaccinations and virus and all this stuff. It's just pure absolute fucking crap they're talking about it. Especially when you read this book, you'll understand the extreme fucking lies. It's just ridiculous, off the scale insanity.
It's fucking mental.
Aye.
I was going to say you couldn't make it up, but they fucking have.
Aye.
You know what I mean?
Well, they are the authorities, so they are the authors. And they tell you, as Boris Johnson says, you know, you take the vaccine and the game continues, basically. All this kind of stuff.
Any cunt that thinks this is going to end with a vaccine's a special type of window liquor. I think they're looking for black currant flavoured fucking windows.
Well, there's a meme. Basically, I done a shooting a shit in my new Patreon Facebook group. I was going to tell you about that. And during that, so I was going to do Patreons in there and like shooting the shit still on the page. Or I don't know, I was going to mix it up, but during the thing, I've decided I'm going to do a new kind of thing. So in the groups, I'm going to do talking pish, or I've come up with a new name, Slaver and Pish or something in the group, where it'll be more casual kind of chit chat. And then the next night, I'll do a shooting the shit on the page. And I think that's what I'm planning on doing.
Brilliant.
Aye, so what I was telling you that story, fuck knows really.
You found a poem?
I found a poem. I realised I've got them all on my website, so, and they're all password Patreon protected. Nobody's looking at it anyway, so I might as well fucking...
Well, you might as well advertise the fucking website while you're here.
Aye, BillyWatson.tv. There's a lot of shit in there, and they've got more shit in the background. But
is there a difference between BillyWatson.tv and BillyWatson.us?
aye, basically, I've got a new store. I've got different services. I've also got a video marketing website, and I'm going to improve that shortly because there's all kinds of different styles of video I can do. But the US is a new store I've got. So if there's any authors out there that want a store, I can make ebooks up, do a good graphic and all the rest of it, good quality ebook. I can make a Kindle version of it. And I can also have a store. If you go to BillyWatson.us, you'll see an example of it. And yeah, that's another service I'm going to offer on the video marketing one. But I'm only one person. But now I've got Emma. Apparently we're two ready to rock and roll. Just need to get off the swally. So, he's okay, folks. He's hanging in there, aye? That was some marketing. I'm not very good at talking about my shit and promoting myself. That's my main downfall. Can't I just chase money? It's there if you want it, so contact me and I can help you out.
For fuck's sake, you're talking about fucking putting yourself out there. I used to dress up in spandex and pretend to fight for the entertainment of kids.
Kids? Alright, I didn't know that. You told me it was adults.
Well, depends on the fucking show, right enough. I never did anything that I said was PG, just they put a PG fucking label on it and I went, what's the main thing?
No, I must admit, I wouldn't say it was dubious, but like wrestling, but something like you're not too sure about. But watching it, it was comical, but for the right reasons. It was a good effort, you know. It was like good entertainment. It was a night out. These guys, obviously, they're doing a bit of a stage show here. But some of the falls that he's done. There's one in particular off that top barrier. I was like, fuck me. That was
the one I think you're talking about. They call it a superplex. We both sort of jumped off the top rope and landed in the ring. We actually broke the ring.
I said that.
You fucker, that hot.
I can imagine you fucking whapped that, good job. I was like, what's that thing made? Is it got springs under there?
Actually, some wrestling rings has one spring in the centre, but it's more like a heavy-duty car spring. It's not really built to give. You've got a little bit of play, but it's not like a fucking trampoline. I assure you. And as much as gravity's never been proven, it's not your friend when you're in that fucking ring.
Well, it's density, I think, you know. You blew a helium balloon up, it's less dense, so it'll float. But you're quite dense in different ways, so I guess.
I'm the opposite to a in the back.
You're like the fucking lead that you tie someone down with, you fucking drown them. Nah. Just a bit of banter there, folks. You've got to fucking keep it real.
You've got to, fuck's sake, you've got to.
Some people do that kind of humour, put you down humour, but it's like, there's a nastiness behind it, you know. I don't really like it. I think if you're with a good friend you do and you can, it's pulling your leg shit, but some other people, that's their style of humour, you know.
What would you make of that other link I sent you with the wrestling, the zombie?
That was brilliant. I didn't know at the time, but Stephen wrote this one as well, which was even more impressive because it was a good fucking tale, you know. It was classic. some of the lights.
I'll make you show you the rest of the matches that sort of followed up for that, and it completes the story. Oh, it's fucking brilliant. You know, obviously the guy get bit with the zombie at the end, and he was dead, so he lost the match and
came back as a zombie.
He come back as in the next match as you know the character The Undertaker.
Oh right, aye. My son.
He come in with that, the whole big coat and the big hat and the gimmick and the lights go out and everything. He fights him again, same boy, Sugar, and fucking he steals his soul.
All right.
So Sugar starts trying to dance to like fucking James Brown and all that, and he's like, "Can he do it?" And he's all fucking. He's not got the soul.
It's like the Jerk, Steve Martin and the Jerk. He's like, just can't get the rhythm. Got the black guys, just can't get it.
That's what it's like with that zombie match. Fuck knows where that came from. You know what I mean? It's just. I don't know.
There's a lot of zombie shit in the fucking, you know, medias are not Walking Dead and all this stuff. So,
I mean, on paper, that should not have worked.
Aye, right.
That was the boys in the ring carried that off. That was fucking superb performance on their part. That was fucking beautiful.
So, how much do they rehearse it? Because you know, all the moves in it looks like it's choreographed quite a lot.
It's not rehearsed. It's the boys maybe have a chat backstage. Say, I'll do this, you do that.
So there's certain names for certain types of moves then?
Yeah, as we name it, calling spots.
Right.
That's what they call it.
Right.
So you'll say, right, get somebody in a headlock, and it's like, right, shove me off, fucking tackle, drop down, leapfrog, hip toss.
Fuck's sake. What if you forget one? You fucking
arms a lot. Again, the other one, that same spot that I just called, somebody could just in a headlock and just throw me off and say international, which is a UK way of describing the spot. It's the same spot, just tackle, drop down, leapfrog, and then it usually ends with a flip bump. But a difference between the UK and the US is what we call a flip bump is what the US calls a front bump.
Right.
And so when you're working with an American boy, you need to be aware of the difference in the language. You might be working with a Japanese cunt or something. But the beauty of professional wrestling is all the spots are called in English, regardless of what country you're in.
Right, okay, that's good. That helps.
It's got that kind of commonality running through it. It certainly fucking helps, if you could be working with a fucking, as I say, Japanese boy 1 week, a Mexican guy, the next week a guy from Bulgaria or fucking whatever. But everything's all just straight up. We'll call it in English and that's it.
So you're saying it's professional wrestling. Would you say it's the same type of wrestling that used to be on ITV Sport back in the day with Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks and was it Mike McCann's or something like that?
Yeah, it's a variation of it. The old British style when they worked in rounds.
Aye.
Similar to boxing, but maybe 5-minute rounds or whatever. The American style became more appealing, became the style kind of worldwide because of its more, let's say, fast-paced storytelling.
Right.
But the old British style was absolutely fucking brilliant.
Aye.
I love it. Even to this day, watching old tapes tapes. Fuck me, I'm not old.
Old clips.
Stick on YouTube. Look for guys like Mick McManus.
That's what I was trying to say. Aye.
Cat Weasel, fucking these kind of characters, and then Fit Finlay was another one, the Irish guy, the Belfast Bruiser, as he became known. And when he moved over to WCW, became quite a big name in the US. I think he's still working, I think, as an official now in the WWE, so he's still active in the game from all the years back. It's a fucking great game, and it's one of the types of entertainment. People either get it or they don't.
Aye.
You've
got to enter into the spirit of it.
It's a bit like football, right? I've never liked football in my fucking life. Can I be fucking out? I could not give a fuck.
Where the ball goes.
Put 2 men in fucking spandex, oiled up. I'm watching, and it's no the kind of gay variety either. You know what I mean?
Well, in Turkey they've got the oil wrestlers there. And I was wanting to watch it. I never got to the opportunity. They do it in the villages quite a lot, and they take it quite seriously. And to me, I imagine that kind of wrestling is more legit. Like they're actually wrestling for, like you would maybe do an Olympics or something like that, Whereas your wrestling's more scripted and fucking,
It's an entertainment form, aye. It's the age-old story of good versus evil.
Aye. Well, that was perfectly summed up with I loved it. The end of the first one, it was one of the ones you sent me where you were the referee, actually.
that was Chris Sabin versus Lewis Goodwin. It was the first ever Y Division championship match.
But you can, it's all scripted because it's got the good and the evil thing, but how you've done it at the end, where it's such a dramatic the two of them are down and one of them crawls up and like Rocky style. The other one takes ages to get up, even after the count. Eventually drags himself up there. Stephen's the ref, come on, shake his hand. And they go close and then he turns away and then leaves and it's like, boo. He's a bad guy, he deserves to lose. No shake a hand. Fuck him.
Lewis at the time, I think he was maybe only 19 or 20 year old.
All right.
So he's a young guy, and he's genuinely one of the best out there with regards to technical wrestling ability, and that almost a mastery of storytelling through his physical appearance and movements.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot more to it than you would think, basically. So there is, I mean, to entertain you, it's not just somebody fighting. There is that element with the crowd, how they'll look at the crowd and they'll whip them up, and the dramatics of the interactions between them.
It's one thing I used to teach. I used to coach wrestlers for a number of years, and one thing I always taught folk was listen, work the match with your ears, listen to the fans, and obviously listen to each other and listen to the referee, because the referee, he's not just there to count to three. He's passing messages between the performers.
Right.
Do this next, or maybe guys are at the opposite ends of the ring, and the referee's the one that's passing the messages. Well, we're going to do this next, we're going to do that next, or fuck that spot, we'll scrap it, we'll just, we need to get quick or something. So you always need to work with your ears. It's similar to, I would imagine, live stand-up comedy. Listen to the audience, work off what works, strip back what's not getting the reaction.
Yep. So that's what I should have done. So, I was going to say something there. Fuck it.
Have you got a poem yet? Fuck's sake.
I have. I'm
fucking glad I'm not hanging with the boys waiting on you.
Well, detours are always good. I just wish I could remember. It'll probably come back to me what I was going to say when you were talking there. But anyway, here we go. So I wrote this basically. I was booked in to do a poetry night in Edinburgh, and the theme was Scotland. So I was just going to roll with Nob Stewart, because the people who were doing it, they'd seen me as Nob Stewart and they kind of liked it. But the referendum was coming up, and it was like 2 days away. So I thought it was too good an opportunity to not say something about it. So I went to the library in that morning, and then about 3 years later, whatever, I came out with this and read it that night. And some folk liked it, but some people didn't, as is the usual. I like to split a room, Anyway, I'll maybe split the 3 people watching this, so we'll have 1.5. Here we go. It's called Scottish Independence. Apparently the people... it's 5 minutes, is that all right? I can handle that.
Yeah. I love that poem.
Right. Apparently the people of Scotland have a choice. Don't make me fucking laugh. The choice between 2 prison cells is really pretty naff. To me, it's just another version of the Hegelian dialectic. Labour, Tory, the Union, or independence. It's all just part of political rhetoric. We the people have no say in how the so-called country is run. We are feudal serfs of their system, or are you going to work for fun? Countries themselves aren't even real. They exist purely on paper. They are fictional entities, corporations, and we are willing pawns of their caper. Whose cock do you want up your ass? Is the illusion of choice on offer? Our taxes will still go to Rome, via the crown to stock their coffer. When are we going to wake up and realise it's all just a game, one we have been bamboozled in our quest for wealth and fame? Do you really think we have a say in what laws the lawmakers pass? Democracy is just a useful word that blinds us from police tear gas. The policy enforcers are there to protect the criminal insane, not the people. We get what we deserve, being subservient, soulless sheeple. Our parents are complicit in the fraud, submitting our souls to be claimed at birth. For when they register us with the crown, they forfeit our rights on this earth. A bonded slave has been created. We go to work to pay their rent, not forgetting to act in accordance with every oppressive statute from Parliament. We don't realise we are not the name. We are men and women, don't you know? The wolves have pulled the wool over our eyes, so we think we have to be part of their show. Schooling schooled us in the art of obedience to answer daily to the legal name fiction. As long as we are good boys and girls, the bullies won't dish out too much friction. Don't dream of following your passion, or even dare to think for yourself. There are many examples in history of how that is not good for your health. Brandy Vaughan, we'll do a tribute to her right there. That is why we are all so scared to even once speak out of turn. So out of concern we police each other, if we have to, our neighbours will spurn. The history books are written by the winners, so why on earth do we trust them? Are we so weak we have to accept their lies in order just to fit into their scarcity system? We fight over the scraps from their table. Like hungry dogs, we are thankful for that. Yet we are the ones who wag their tail while they act like a superior big cat. We don't even own our own bodies. A jail sentence awaits recreational plant users. But with what they are doing to the planet, they are Mother Nature's abusers. We are told that the climate is changing, and for that we the people must pay. When everyone goes smart, common sense will have had its day. Yes, they are sick, but they don't stop there. For many rape and torture kids, it is part of their satanic practice to do exactly what morality forbids. We think we are so cool and clever now that we've legalized gay marriage. What is next on their disturbing agenda? How far will they go before you disparage? Call me old-fashioned, but I believe consenting adults of any sexual persuasion shouldn't need to beg for a license so the state can further its indecent invasion. Now we have an independence referendum. They tell us that our decision will be historic. But every time we go into a voting booth, all we are doing is making them euphoric. So I, for one, will not be voting either way. I refuse to give away any of my power. If you don't want to aid and abet corruption, I suggest you too walk away from that shower. Let them keep their bullshit fiat currency, which is only good for wiping your arse. It holds no inherent real value. Like everything else, it's a total farce. We should educate ourselves properly, claim back our divine proportion. That way, whatever we earn through our labour cannot be withdrawn by legal extortion. The only things that should be governed is our own mind, body and soul. When we take responsibility for them, the facade will collapse back up its own asshole. I really don't think we have any other option unless you are happy being less than you are. We can find happiness and joy in each other, for each one of us is a bright shining star. We are capable of far more than we show. All it requires is the will for real change. We need to take our heads out of the sand so we can start to see what we can rearrange. For government is just a modern form of religion, one that I pray has had its day. So let's all make a stand, united for freedom, and let our righteous, brave heart spirit lead the way. Thank you very much.
I'm here all week. Try the fish. No, that was a great poem, Billy. I mean, the first time I heard it, I think one of Mark Richardson's shows in it, Dundee.
Yeah, I think I mentioned that I was going to just keep it light, and then you went on before me and got real. So I think I've done a couple of knob poems and then done that one.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I'm sure that was the one when I spoke to you after the show. I thought it was like some fuckers just read my book back.
Aye.
It was great that way. That
was book. You want? Yeah, what was the title of the book?
Scratch the Surface.
Scratch the Surface. Aye. So, have you got a place where people can get that on the net? Should you advertise yourself?
Fucked if I remember the site that deals with the ebooks. I'm absolutely fucking ill prepared for a question like that. Yeah,
well, that's got you back.
It doesn't exist. It's a thing. It's there. If I find a link, I'll post it at fucking some point. But, even if somebody just fucking messaged me on Facebook.
So that book was basically you going into the conspiracy aspect of the world and stuff, and a lot of the things I'm talking about there, people would consider conspiracy theories. But now we were talking about back then, it's actually in the news with cashless society and stuff like that. When does it stop becoming a conspiracy theory in actual reality? When, are people going to accept the fact that there's maybe something more going on?
It's one of those things that we may be complicit in it in as much as being creator beings. And
yeah, well, I think the fact that they're just repeating this stuff. Oh yeah, totally. Even I'm questioning doing these shooting the shit things sometimes because we're just posting all the stuff that they want us to focus on, so it helps us. There's a book, not the authors of this book. They've also their first book was called The Nature of Reality, and that basically, first of all, we have to understand there is no virus and exactly the health how the body works. But really, the true thing to get to grips with is how our mind and our thoughts are actual things, and how what we do with those things and how we listen to them, and the energy and focus and power and love we vibrate at, and all these things. We are masters of our own reality. We are the creator beings. That's why there's this big war against us to shut us down on food, chemtrails, fucking wearing a mask and all this stuff.
I'm sure that was a Black Sabbath album. The name of one of their albums back in the day was Master of Reality.
All right. I think it was. Sounds a bit like Black Sabbathy. I should tell people on my BillyWatson.us, there's different ebooks. So that poem is on The Plain Facts, which is about 450 pages of kind of spiritual conspiracy-like poems. And there's some pictures of me. I've basically spent the whole lockdown making these PDFs that I've been advertising like crazy, and they can't bought a single one. So anyway, they're there.
I love your work, the tangent point, because I think the story behind it is so fucking fitting for today, with people talking about wanting a revolution, but all a revolution is you're going to keep coming back on yourself. It's the same cycle. Getting that tangent point, just shooting off in a brand new direction and making things fucking better.
Basically, that's it. There's always these revolutions in history, but things never change, So who's controlling the revolutions? And you usually find it's the same group that are doing these things to further their agenda of total control of the world. So we need not another revolution so they can go down the next path. We need a tangent point for us to fucking step back, step off the roller coaster, whatever the fuck I've got planned for us next. But that's on Politically Incorrected. There's comedy skits. There's one about conspiracy theories and football work, and I've done one thing called Parliament, which is based on the work of John Harris and that kind of stuff back in the day, the legalese thing. So I was at the Edinburgh Festival performing old material, but I was going back to my residence hall that night and writing all this new material because I didn't like my old material. So anyway, I don't know. So anyway, that's one book, and then there's Funny Cunt, which is an obscure version of my funny stories, but I've also done it as Bucking Cunny Funt as myself. So that's the English version, and an obscure version is the Scottish version, because the Americans can't understand the lingo.
Yeah.
And
do you want to dig out another poem? In the meantime, I'll share another one of mine while you're searching away through your archives.
Is there any particular style you're after, or
anything at all, my man? Anything. Right. The one I'm going to share just now, it was one of the first poems I'd ever written. It's about different things that people fucking invest your time and energy and effort into, and it's different things for different people. It might be your favourite TV show, your favourite fucking Fitbit team, fucking whatever it might be. But it's about being able to step back and question whether these things are really worth it or not. So this is a wee poem called 7 Fucks, or Is It Really Worth It? And politicians full of shit. They're just like junkies taking a hit while spouting pish for you to sit through. So are they really worth it? And all these cunts that can fuck all, getting paid a fortune to kick a ball, charging more and more for games and all. So are they really worth it? And that Jeremy Kyle, he's a useless wank. He's using you to fill his bank with cash. He doesn't even thank you. So is he really worth it? So aliens, come on, send in your probe. Send us Jesus, Buddha, or SpongeBob. Because if you're like me, you hate your job because that isn't fucking worth it. You see, there's 7 fucks that I just don't give. And I know my head's just like a sieve because that was only 4. So I'll admit that this poem wasn't worth it.
And you didn't give a fuck about it. Next one, I think you sent me a link to your YouTube site, and I think that was one of the poems I shared on the page. You done a video of that in your house or something?
I did, it's I think there was 2 or 3 fucking poems in that, like Before You Fly Your Flag and fucking that one there, 7 Fucks. Something stupid about pigeons or something too. I think it's
Aye. I must say though, Stephen had invited us one of my shows to watch. It was something called Grunge Fest. It's like a collection of grungy bands. I think they're all Scottish based, and Stephen's group. What are you called? Piston Broke as well? No, you've got another name. Don't tell me. I should know that.
As Bridges Burn.
As Bridges Burn, aye. So anyway, he's got a Bandcamp page for the song they played. There was like some amazing tracks on this. I've bought it because it's for diabetes. It's a good cause.
Pirate copy.
It's not a pirate copy. I paid for this. I fucking downloaded it and paid for it. I can use that. My pirate copies are in these other folders. But anyway, not of that, just in general. But so there's amazing tracks in that, and then Stephen's song came on, and it was like up there with the best ones on it easily. It was a great track. So
I love the way the guy Martin, one of the gaffers there, he says it rattled my windies.
All right.
Some people loved it.
I had a really good groove to it. I've seen Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats, to my son to see them in Glasgow Garage last year, and I just love that kind of groove. And someone gets a groove and it's quite like, but just starts so slow and you're kind of, what's going on here? Then all of a sudden you're hooked into it and it's just pretty epic. Good effort.
It's a great album for anybody that's watching. I think it's SOS Records. Search that in Bandcamp and you'll be able to find a link to it. You can buy it. I
think the O might be a 0.
I think so. I think the O is a 0 right enough for the way they've typed it. But yeah, I think it costs a tenner, if I'm not mistaken. All money's raised is going towards the charity Diabetes UK, which is a great cause, which you and your better half have.
Yeah, basically my girlfriend, she has got type 1 diabetes, and she definitely had vaccinations before that, and there's no other reason people get these things, there's like measles and all these skin diseases and asthma and eczema and all that, and people just say it's just childhood illnesses, but what we're doing to the children, we're pumping fucking really bad shit into them. And if you understand that there isn't a virus that's causing any harm to your body, and there's no such thing as an immune system that's jumping into action ready to attack fucking some poison, there is something else that attacks the poison, but it's not what we would call an immune system. It's something that's going to get that stuff out of the body as quickly, kind of globulins, not fucking antibodies ready to fucking save you. It's all based on 100% bullshit. Louis Pasteur, the guy who had this theory, he admitted it. Well, he knew it all his life, and he admitted it on his deathbed. And so many other people over history have talked about it. But obviously, it's a big money maker for the pharmaceuticals. During that last poem, I mentioned Brandy Vaughan. She died a few days ago, found by her 9-year-old son. And she talks about the pharmaceutical industry, especially vaccinations. It's the new way they're going to make big money. It's preventative medicine. At the same time, they're making you ill so they can profit on the back end of it. But, it's just big business. And what else? Genocide.
Customers, not cures.
That's exactly right, yeah.
So, you got a poem like that, Billy?
I do. Basically, I thought what other one could I do? And it's another quite long one, but I thought it was maybe it's the one I've wrote most recently called "The Time Has Come," because I was invited to do speak up at Perth with Rana. You were there, and I wanted to write something new because I hadn't wrote anything for a while, and all this virus shit was in my head. So basically, the 2 days, even on the day, I finished it on the day. I think the first time I read it back was performing it that night. So I wrote that then, and this is it. It's called "The Time Has Come." So it's quite long, folks, but it tells a wee story. So life was going on to what most seemed like normal. The slaves seemed happy in their daily life role, going to gigs, sports, and doing their shopping. Some even seemed quite happy on the dole. Then we heard something stirred in the city of Wuhan. The trusted nightly news informed us of a killer virus. Most of our great British citizens paid little attention. After all, what did a distant outbreak have to do with us? Then the mental little thing had the audacity to spread. Somehow it migrated over 7,000 miles. People in Italy were apparently dying in droves. All of a sudden, people here began to lose their smiles. Fear was ramped up, which got our rectums twitching. All we could do was hope, carry on as normal, and wait. For if this deadly, contagious, microscopic bug spread, we were all going to face an extremely catastrophic fate. Our prime dumpling was recommended to shut down the airports, but Boris decided that was far too drastic a measure. So he waited a few weeks just to make damn sure. He apparently didn't want to spoil our limited free time leisure. Well, what do you know? That pesky little highly contagious germ infected a few selfish British holiday makers abroad, who casually carried it back into our dear old Blighty. Was this to be some kind of punishment from God? The number of deaths reported increased around the world. Some even claimed the virus stemmed from bat soup. Suddenly, people got nervous to go out in public spaces. They looked to the government to seal the deadly loop. Eventually, a countrywide lockdown was announced. The powers that be decided enough was enough. In order to combat this immediate threat to society, it was time for the establishment hierarchy to get tough. The majority of the population were ordered to stay at home, to play their part in the saving of at least one precious life. A lot of men were deeply unhappy with this dictate, as it meant spending more time with their children and wife. People's arseholes now began to seriously quaver, so they rushed to the shops to stock up on bog roll. This caused a huge shortage, which turned many distraught. Little did they know it was all part of government control. Many other aisles began to look empty as they ran out of stock, which raised the fear factor of the general docile population. We were told that the hospitals would soon be vastly overrun and that it was down to the nurses to save the health of the nation. Only essential workers were allowed to continue to work. They were given accolades such as heroine and hero. Obviously, we must have urgently required high-speed downloads, as 5G towers were erected on the orders of a government bureau. They neglected to tell us that they are required for the Internet of Things, and they don't mention what metals are in our daily dosage of chemtrails. If you have ever put tinfoil into a microwave, then you will know the combined effect will be more than just one of Aesop's fables. Although we were told that all the hospitals were full to capacity, we witnessed many empty wards and staff dance routines. If anyone turned up ill, their family members were banned. I guess they wanted you alone in order to sample your genes. They did this. Hold on. They done this by sticking a swab deep inside your nose, which pushed back against the blood-brain barrier, claiming that saliva was not a good enough way to determine if you were a deadly contagious virus carrier. Some say that this would cause some kind of brain drip, which could be fatal if they turn up the 5G frequency. Most consider these people insane conspiracy theorists. They believe politicians are the guardians of morals and decency. After all, they got us to show our deep loving gratitude by coming out our cuckoo clocks every Thursday at 8, then clapping like trained seals as the virus paused for breath before we went back inside our caves to await our life or death fate. Behind the scenes, the corporations were extremely busy, buying tons of supplies of cancer-generating hand gel, putting up warning signs strongly urging us to social distance. This was the start of our slide into the new normal hell. The masses did not question these something or others. I keep hitting my button too much. The masses did not question these new safety guidelines. They have blind trust in those who tell them what to think. Blissfully happy as long as the TV still programs their mind and they can still access their poisonous smokes and drink. Some people began to research just exactly what is a virus. They discovered that they are dead and can't travel through air. It turns out that germ theory has never once been proven. Therefore, they had to conclude that it was all done to scare. What would they gain by getting the people to obediently comply with these new restrictions to their everyday freedom and life, unless they feed off our fear and have a sick, ulterior motive, pushing men to depression with their trouble and strife? It is as if the medical establishment is inherently evil. Their only solutions are to take their scalpel and drugs. Not one of them explain the benefits of healthy eating. It is like they are the grasshoppers and we are the bugs. Before we knew it, the next mandate was for us all to wear masks. Hold on, get a wee drink of water. Well, I'll scroll up and make it look quite casual. Aye, we're hanging in there. It's fucking long, isn't it? Anyway, before we knew it, the next mandate was for us all to wear masks, which act like a muzzle in order to shut us up from talking. Those who don't conform are treated like lepers or scum, even though they hinder people from breathing when walking or doing fucking anything. If it is for the collective good, they will all go along merrily. They don't need to research what tinfoil hat wearers say, for that may force them to take a look inside themselves, and they would rather save that for a day far, far away. So in the meantime, those with an active brain in their heat, not sure which side he's on, will be cajoled into doing whatever Bill Gates says is good. Holy fuck, eh? The police and the army are on hand to forcibly force a special new vaccine that gives you permission to buy food. It will also be handy to get back to watching the footy, to travel on public transport, or indeed do anything, even going to watch adult wrestling. Never mind the fact that no vaccine has ever been proven to work. We will follow the social model like they have in Beijing. Scientists are working hard in labs to combine all kinds of nasties that will also have a robot element to update you remotely. But one shot won't be enough to shut down your soul. They also require track and trace so you don't behave ghostly. Why would they do this? I know a lot of people are asking. Maybe every so often they have a culling and a great reset. We are just a goyim to them. We get what we deserve. They set up the system, but we are the ones who apply for their debt. If you take the time to look into this whole tragic mess, you would see there is a battle going on, waging war on your soul. Satan is real, and we believed his lies and deceptions, and to cut off humanity's connection to God is his long-time goal. Now artificial intelligence is here to merge man and machine, the transhumanist agenda to make us take the mark of the beast. Google and big tech has not just appeared out of nowhere. The people who run it see us as part of their feast. I call them people, but like Elvis, they are devils in disguise. They torture, rape and murder newborn human babies, living underground in a secret network of interconnected cities. To me, they should be quarantined like a dog with rabies. They drink adrenochrome, which allows them to be possessed, and they pull the strings of government in every land. Are we going to wake up and do what is right once and for all? There isn't much time left for us to make a last fruitful stand. They have one weak spot which they are trying their best to bury. Spread the phrase "Occupy the Getty" so everyone knows the plan. We must go down that secret bunker to stop their despotic schemes. And when we disinfect their headquarters, we can all stop acting like a caveman. Thank you.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Well,
that's been maybe just over the hour, Billy. Is there anything you want to add? In fact, before that, what's your take on this fucking bullshit story doing the rounds today that they've found a new strain of the COVID-19. Oh.
I've not heard that one, but it's obviously 100% bollocks.
That's what I'm saying.
We are being lied to, folks, on such a huge scale. And, if you've not seen the picture by now, you think we're talking piss. And I'm honestly sorry about that, because I don't think you'll ever see it. Because there's a brilliant song, Conspiracy Music Guru, I think that is. This guy used to do the Flat Earth songs. He's got a song that idiots will never see the evidence or something like that. Go to his site and find it, because you'll never convince an idiot, no matter how much evidence. You can't convince an idiot it's true. It's basically, because people are just starting again. I'll refer people to this fucking book. Go and buy it if you want to know what a virus is. Stop arguing with people who are trying to educate you on the internet, and go and fucking read a book, for God's sake. It does my fucking head in.
Can anybody that thinks the TV is a fucking genuinely good source of information is a fucking arse clown?
Right, I wasn't going to do this, but basically I'm going to show you some of the books I bought recently, right? So there's Kerry Cassidy, who thinks maybe, not 100% legit, but she talks about some interesting stuff. So Rebel Gene, that's about secret space soldiers and fucking going to Mars and all this kind of mental shit, right? Then you've got the body, food is your medicine. The proper way for us to stay healthy is to fucking eat the correct food and learn how to eat organically and look after our bodies, and then we'll not have all these fucking diseases, and we'll not need basically all this bullshit. Our bodies are designed to work. We're the ones that fuck them up, and we're letting chemtrails get sprayed on us and all the rest of it, you can. So you probably heard of Mark Devlin. I've got his book. It's a novel. I've not got around to reading that yet, but that's maybe worth a read. He's also got his musical truth stuff that's quite good about the true nature of the music industry. Neil Sanders sent me this one. I had to have him on my show, and that's about the Marilyn Manson stuff. There's a lot of interesting stuff to do with that. Rosemary's Baby and fucking Roman Polanski and Charles Manson. Who did I say? I keep calling him Marilyn Manson, fucking, this is the one Sage Quay, Mike Williams got into the Beatles stuff through reading this book. This is the second version. There's a red one, but it's basically, this is Paul McCartney, as we know the day, writing this book through him. And apparently, I've not got around to reading it yet, but apparently when you get to the end of it, I think it's got 666 pages. And when you get to the end of it, it's like some kind of magic spell works in you and you want to investigate it more. It's like hooks you in. So that's why I'm avoiding it. I've got enough shit. This is another one about the contagion myth by Thomas Cowan, who I don't agree with some of the stuff he says, but he's basically a pretty interesting dude. I'm not an expert, so who am I to know? It's worth reading. You can making your own mind up. This is one by Nick Colestrom. He was a guy that done a lot of stuff about what do you call it, Auschwitz and stuff like that, and how they can burn so many bodies. The scientific aspects of that story. He got lots of condemnation about that, but similar with this, he's going into he's quite good at analysing the detail. So a couple more. That's the Don and David book you need to get if you want to learn about your health. It's 800 pages. It's worth it, basically. It's like a fucking reference book. Something else I've been getting recently is we said democracy in that poem, the Scottish independence one, democracy is a useful word. Well, actually, the true form of democracy in ancient Greece, every time somebody was on trial, the law was on trial. And it's not just voting in a box once every 4 years. Democracy is a living thing that we need to fucking learn common law and the true nature of us all being equal under the same God, basically, And then the last one is this, the New World Religion. This looks as it's going to be a classic fucking conspiracy book. I just seen it actually on Facebook. It was advertised.
The back of cover, I think you can end up filing it right beside George Orwell,
Well, it's not a novel. It's a here's who's running the world type thing. Basically, this could be the most amazing book you have ever read. Is it true that a new world religion has been formed? Is there really a group of leaders directing the course of society? How can we find out if there is a secret plan for humanity? So, sounds like a good one. So what I'm saying to you, basically, people, is if you are fucking still watching the football and that, it's time to waking up. It's time to put effort into fucking getting some knowledge in your head and understanding that your future and possibly the whole humanity's future depends on us taking action of some description, at least looking at information that might scare you a little, because there's no way.
I can't mind what cunt said it, but it's a cunt that said the truth shall set you free, but first it will piss you off.
Aye, exactly. Yeah. Was it no? The guy in They Live, Roddy Piper. I'm only joking.
It might have been him. Well, fucking Roddy Piper, Jesus Christ, fucking hell.
That was a segue for you.
Where the fuck were we? It was some like autograph signing things, and we were acting as security for them. And Roddy's there, and his son was there, Colt, as well. A lot of folk don't ken it. Roddy Piper's real name's Roderick Toombs. He sounds more like the Undertaker than he does fucking Roddy Piper. Yeah, sound as fuck. But he's sitting there and he's like, I need a break, man. I need a break. So only chance we can fuck off. So they escorted Piper out, and we're out the back of this fucking place, wherever the fuck we were. I think it was somewhere in Dundee. And he goes into his fucking pocket. His inside pocket, his jacket, and he pulls out this joint, and it's the size of a Wayne's Earn. He sparks it up, and his son Colt comes over, and Colt was maybe 19, 20-year-old or something at the time, and he was training to be an MMA fighter, but that's neither here nor there. And Piper says, "Look, Colt, just away back through with the boys, they'll fucking keep an eye on you, it's fine." And he fucking still smoking this, and he passes me, and I'm like, fucking Jesus. We were higher than a fucking pilot's piece box.
Right. I didn't. You just said you smoked the joint with him. I didn't realise it was like to that devastation.
We were fucking legless, for wanting a better way of putting it. And we ends up getting back through. He says, "I need to go back through." There's still queue right round the fucking corner of people wanting autographs and pictures and all this kind of stuff. And try to work security when you're that fucking.
It's a non-starter.
It's a difficult fucking thing. I remember the following morning, we had all these WWE guys, and it was a wee log cabin just outside Blair Gowrie. That was their digs for the time that we were here. I arrived in the morning. I was first there. It was maybe some other autograph signing or something. So I turns up, and there's like the $1 Million Man. I don't know if you remember these kind of characters.
I do indeed. Steve Austin, is it?
Tatanka.
No, $6 Million Man. I'm thinking.
Tatanka was there. He just happens to be the character that broke my fucking neck.
All right.
But that's another story. We'll get into that maybe next week, week after or something. Chavo Guerrero Jr., which that was a great fucking one. When Piper arrived, he goes, "Who else is booked?" He goes, "Chavo Guerrero's coming." He goes, "Junior or senior?" Says Junior. He goes, fucking shame. Says, "I love his father, Chavo Guerrero Senior," and he started fucking dancing about this fucking log cabin, singing La Cucaracha.
Sounds like he's had a wee talk before that as well.
He was a weed smoking MacGyver. He'd got a smoke out of fucking anything, man. See if he'd make fucking papers, he'd make a pipe out of an apple or a fucking Coke can.
Aye.
But anyway, that's enough of that fucking nonsense. Is there anything you want to share just before we wind up, Billy? Just,
sorry?
Where can people find you?
Well, BillyWatson.tv and the video. I'm going to revamp my video marketing site, but it's eVideo Agency. If you need a video, and there's various other things you can do on the internet, but the main thing is I'm trying to get this book out, which is a collection of my ebooks, which the book will not be just on some random store that I've set up. It'll be on Amazon, so we'll be able to get a Kindle version and be able to get a print version. And it's all a collection of my different types of writing over the years. And if you're easily offended, I suggest you didn't buy it.
Fuck off now.
But it's called Screwy Scribbles because it's just, it's comedy material. It's a mix of different things. And screwy kind of means mental, but there's a lot of sex stuff in there. So it's kind of adult in nature, quite controversial, but fucking out there. It's just shit that's in my head, and it's been let loose on print, so strap yourselves in. I will have a website, screwyscribbles.com, but right now I've just got that posted to my eVideo site. Or my fucking ebook site.
Brilliant.
Oh, that's another thing, Patreon. If you want to, I'm going to be doing the show, I think, talking Sleeving and Pish or something on Patreon. So, yeah, if you want to connect with me more there, I'm going to start looking at that and maybe, doing some Patreon only and getting a group. And maybe within the group, within Facebook, people can talk more and share themselves more because, like, in a page, it's more public.
What about your tribe?
I've got a tribe thing as well, aye. basically, if you join Patreon, you get access to the tribe, and you also get access to the Facebook group, and you get access to all the material on the website. The blog section's free, and all the rest of it, it's just a one payment on tribe for $10 a month, which will be all the stuff we'll be doing, at least 3 talking pishes a week and all that other shit. And if more people join that are interested, then again, if I could even get to the point of losing my job at one time, I would build this tribe up more and I'd do a lot more stuff, and there's all these videos I can make. If people have stuff to promote, I can basically do good prices, which will help me sustain myself and help you promote yourself. And
well, I've got a bit of work coming your way for the new year, because this is the resurrection and the Piston Broke podcast. I'll be looking for a wee video intro and a wee video intro for a couple of wee segments. I'm going to bring in like Magners Mongo moments and cooking for skint cunts. When I'm bringing in a cooking show, a master chef element.
Sounds pretty good. Once I figure out the software,
once I get to grips with what the fuck I'm dealing with here, because it's an alien concept to me. I'm used to either a live crowd or a fucking live microphone. I'm not used to just a camera in front of me.
And you're the pilot.
Mm-hmm. When next are you on live yourself? Is it tomorrow?
Yeah, I think it's 7 o'clock. I'm doing a shooting a shit on the Billy Watson TV page, which anyone can watch.
What number are we up to now? We're into the 50s.
I actually done 53 today on my, as I said, on the group, so I'm doing 54. If you do obviously join Patreon, you could see it. I was actually just talking to Emma because she got a pass. So she was sitting beside me and she was the one viewer. I was testing out a few things.
Where is Emma? Get her to kick her head in front of the camera so that people can say hello.
Emma, you've been
see this mug.
Stephen's saying that people want to see your mug and know the one that's sitting in front of me. She's not that keen. She doesn't like.
Oh,
she's shy.
Stage fright.
Well, she pretends anyway.
Oh, come on. What time are you on tomorrow? Is it about 7 or 8?
It's 7. Basically, I was doing them at 8, but then by the time I finish, I've not got much time to unwind before I'm starting to think about bed. So anyway, it's on 7 tomorrow, but it can change. You coming to say hi? Here's Emma.
Squeaky bum moment for Emma. Hey Emma, how you going?
Hi.
Not just
she can't hear you. Go put these on.
Best tea maker in town, huh?
I wouldn't go that far, but she's consistent.
Anyway, Billy, I think we'll wind it up there, my man. Thank you for being the first guest on the resurrection of the Piston Broke fucking podcast, and we're only going to get better for here. I'll keep in touch. Fucking watching your show today. Look forward to tomorrow. I'll probably get fucking banned again for Facebook. You know what I'm like.
Make it your mission.
Yeah. You hang about for a wee bit after I press this button. I'm no too sure of how this fucking thing works. Right. I think I hit the fucking finish and that's us off air, but
I'll be here.
We can still have a wee chat. But thanks for anybody that stuck through it. Fuck me. I know it's hard going at times, but yeah.
Speaking for himself.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for being part of the Resurrection of the Piston Broke podcast, and hope to hear from you all soon.
Cheers. Thanks for having me.
Cheerio.